evening. It is another amazing and beautiful Saturday. This is the 10th day of August, the year 2024. Indeed, it is a day of mixed reaction. I'm talking about the crown, the medal that Kenya have just won. Right now, Emmanuel Anyonyi has added Kenya's medal tally to third as far as gold is concerned. And of course, it's a day that we have seen the legendary, the iconic marathoner, the greatest of all time, Eliud Kipchoge, bows out in a very historical moment, a man that has proved to the world that indeed no human is limited. Tonight, or today, he actually ran the last sprint. Unfortunately, that sprint did not touch the final touchline. However, he's a man that he will forever remembered for his contribution to the world of athletics, a man that has really inspired many upcoming athletes, and a man that will forever, his name will be inked in the annals of history as the greatest marathoner of all time, the only man who have run under sub 1 hour, or rather sub 2 hours, Eliud Kipchoge, the greatest of all. And of course, we have many and more lined up for you, but first thing first, our top stories tonight.
Tonight, let us unite. Ruto continued to root for his broad-based government approach as he tours Murang'a County. We want justice. A family in Thika demands justice for their kin after he was allegedly shot in police custody. Also tonight, I stand with Kenyans. Odinga condemns police brutality on Nane protesters and journalists who are covering the protest. Plus, he must go. Uber drivers storm Isili police station, demands the transfer of area OCPD over harassment.
This is Weekend Live with Auma Evans.
Alright, my name is Auma Evans, sitting in for Theo Masharia. Tonight, I'm in able hands of the ever-competent Joy Mutava as our sign language interpreter tonight. So we begin with the latest. President William Ruto yet again rooted for his broad-based government approach, insisting on the need to unite Kenyans and all leaders. Rion Pauline Dungu opens our bulletin tonight with that report.
President William Ruto has insisted on bringing everyone on board as a move to formulate his broad-based government that aims to stabilize the country weeks after the deadly end finance bill protest. Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, who was present during the tour in the area, supported the president's move, adding that the people she represents do not want to join the opposition.
Yo watoto wetu wote under 18 waweze kushughulikiwa mambo yao ya afya na serikali ya Kenya.
Sisi tunakuunga mkono sana kwa hii serikali ambayo unaita ya broad based. Si ndio? Mimi nataka kukuambia Mheshimiwa Rais, watu wa Kirinyaga na watu wa hapa Kariti wamesema hao hawataki kamwe kuwa upande wa opposition.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua during the tour urged Kenyans to give President William Ruto a chance, while at the same time clearing the air about the rift between him and the president. Rigathi, touching on the same, urged leaders to stop making statements that confuse people, saying that he is part of the government.
Mimi naomba watu wangu, huyu rais tumpatie nafasi.
The president, who was in the company of several other politicians, including some from his newly appointed cabinet, launched a couple of projects, including the construction of an aggregation park, a special economic zone, and an export processing zone, among others.
Hiyo special economic zone na export processing zone iko Athi River. Sasa tunalete moja yao ikuje hapa Sagana, ndio tuweze kupanga ajira ya watu wa sehemu hii.
The development tour in the region, seemingly as a move to win hearts, will be among the many as promised during his presidential campaigns. Dongo Pauline, KUTV.
All right, politics aside, now a family in Thika is now demanding justice for their kin who was allegedly shot by drunk police officer while in police custody. And as Joylene Akware explains in the following report, the victim alongside his two other friends were arrested on the allegations of trespass.
Friends and family of Samson Wambua, a police brutality victim, is now calling on the government for justice for their kin after he was shot and injured by a drunk police officer while in detention for trespass allegations at a police station in Thika East. According to the victim, Samson Wambua, after their arrest, they were taken to the police station and detained. Then came along a drunk officer who, he says, beat up one of his other friends to the point of injuring him. The friend was then released for fear that the incident would escalate upon trial.
Police station ndo askari mwingine alikuja hapo, but alikuwa mlevi. Akapiga huyo jamaa mmoja mwenye tulikuwa naye akaumia. Ikabidi aachiliwe juu alikuwa na nosebleed. Kwa itakuwa kesi wakamwachilia. Sasa ndio huyo askari mwingine alikuwa anasaidia naye akamwacha achange akuje shift. Kumwacha hapo akakuja huko ndani akatuchapa kitu limbia anaweza umiza mtu. Sasa hapo ndio alikuwa kubunduki akafyatu.
The two were then left with the same officer who then proceeded to shoot Samson in the back.
Kumwacha hapo akakuja huko ndani akatuchapa kitu limbia anaweza umiza mtu. Sasa hapo ndio alikuwa kubunduki.
According to the Thika East Police boss Andrew Sora, the officer in question is currently hiding and investigations are ongoing to bring the perpetrator to book.
Yule askari alifanya hilo kitendo, aliweza kujificha na tutapata. Uchunguzi imeanzwa, tumeanza uchunguzi na tutachukua hatua ile ina.
Samson's mother Stella Wanzila is pleading with the Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki to help them make sure that the police officer is found and justice is served. She went on to add that her son is innocent of the said charges.
Na hiyo afisa alimpiga risasi, alikuwa amempiga bure kwa sababu huyo mtoto hakuna kitu alikuwa amefanya makosa, kwa sababu anafanya kazi hapa kwa mchanga. Nilikuwa naomba Kindiki, umerudishwa kazi na kuomba uweze kunipigania.
The other colleagues who work with Samson came forth to say that their colleague was innocent and they want justice. They want the police to be taken to court and that justice must be served.
Wakapiga hadi wakaambia tunaweza waua. Na hiyo si haki, si tunataka haki itendeke. Alafu karao mwenye alipiga huyo kijana alitoroka. Na walikuwa wametuambia ati wamemshika. Watafuata sheria. Hata mheshimiwa wetu alituambia itafuata sheria.
Joylene Akware, KUTV.
We hope that the family will find justice and closure. Now to another story that has elicit reaction and rather continue to elicit reaction across the divide. Now, Odinga Coalition leader Raila Odinga has continued to condemn brutality meted on Kenyans during the 9/9 anti-government protests and attack on journalists, expressing concerns over excessive use of police force on peaceful demonstrators and journalists covering the protest, as Ochieng Cynthia now reports.
The Azimio Coalition, led by Raila Odinga, has continued to be vocal condemning the police for their excessive use of force against peaceful protesters and journalists during the 9/9 demonstrations. In a statement on his Twitter account, Raila expressed his firm support for Kenyans in fighting for their freedom, justice, and constitutional rights. He also called for the immediate release of those who have been detained and demanded a thorough investigations into the police officers who engage in misconduct. Kalonzo Musyoka, Wiper Party leader, has also condemned the police for using excessive force, pointing out that peaceful demonstrations should not at any point be criminalized. Neither should young Kenyans holding national flags be tear-gassed. Additionally, he urged the church to pray for country grappling with corruption and police brutality.
The country is at a crossroad. You can't criminalize peaceful demonstrations, young Kenyans holding our national flag, which is the pride of our country. And then you tear gas your national pride. It doesn't look right. So church, I want to urge you pray. We pray earnestly without ceasing.
Speaking on the same, Kalonzo blamed the Kenya Kwanza government over the recent harassment of Jimmy Wanjigi and family and the planting of fake evidence in his compound despite his innocence.
Every so often Jimmy is harassed, but this time if the U.S. and the Secretary of State for Humanitarian and Human Rights is still in the country, it should prevail on Kenya Kwanza. Wache kumsumbua Jimmy Wanjigi.
And as the coalition continue pronouncing their stand about the brutality, most families continue with the search for justice for their loved ones during the first anti-government Gen Z-led protest. Ochieng Cynthia for KU TV News.
All right, thank you, Cheng Cynthia, for that comprehensive reporting. Now let's switch gears to Machakos County. Tensions are escalating in Machakos County as opposition members of the county assembly demands a complete overhaul of Governor Wavinya Ndeti's cabinet. The MCAs argue that the current administration has failed to deliver on campaign promises. The call for change comes amid recent resignation of key county officials and growing fears over the safety of residents due to increased wildlife attacks.
Virtually given them an ultimatum of Tuesday next week so that they ensure that all the hyenas in Mua are either snared, taken back to the game parks. Otherwise, from Tuesday, we shall take it upon ourselves. We'll clear all the hyenas in this region by way of poisoning them, by way of killing them. And that we must
fanya jinsi Ruto alifanya. Dissolve your cabinet. Leo udissolve cabinet yako. Ukishamaliza kudissolve cabinet, tuletee watu ambao ni competent. How do you explain an accountant pale anaran hospitali? Kuna mambo mengi ambayo yamekuwa yakitendeka ambayo hayajakuwa yazuri. Tumekuwa tukiongelea mambo ya hospitali ambayo haijakuwa vizuri. Tumekuwa tukiongea kutoka siku ya kwanza tukiambia governor, sisi ni watu ambao mimi nimekuwa corporate world. Mheshimiwa Ngunga amekuwa mwalimu. Sisi watu wa wale waheshimiwa wako hapa si waheshimiwa tu ambao ni rokota, ni waheshimiwa hata tumekuwa leaders kwa forums zingine. Na tunajua wakati kazi inafanywa na tunajua wakati mchezo inafanywa.
And now to the nation's capital. Drama and chaos ensued at Isili North Police Station as police officers fired tear gas canisters at Uber drivers who demanded for the transfer of the area deputy OCS for harassment and discrimination meted on Uber drivers. The drivers demanded for the release of their colleagues who had been detained in the station.
Kwa majina naitwa Richard Auma. Mimi ndio na captain mwenye alibeba mteja from the South B. Papa akanipigia simu. Akaniambia amesahau bag. Nikamwambia ni sawa, niko na mteja mwingine naenda Nikitengela. So kufika after that akaniambia nikifika Nikitengela nisichukue mteja yoyote nimletee bag. Nikamwambia bag naye nitakuletea lakini utanigharamia. Akaniambia ni sawa nifanye estimate ni pesa ngapi nitataka from Nikitengela hadi hapa. Nikaangalia estimate ilikuwa 20,170. Akaniambia nimtolee hizo ni za juu ikuwe round figure ikuwe 2,000. Nikakubali. Akaniambia nikuje. Nikifika huko nikatoka. Nikifika hapa wanajam awanilipi. Mpaka ameleta nikijana mwingine amenipiga wamenipiga na huyo mwanamke mpaka akashikwa na askari akaletwa hapa. Kufika hapa askari akaand over kwa askari wenzake. Immediately huyo ria mwingine akatolewa na askari oria mwenzake akaambiwa aende. Wakaniambia mimi ndio mwizi, nimeiba mzigo ya mwenyewe. Wakaniweka sel.
Naomba hivi, sisi siku moja hapa tunahangaishwa na hao askari. Na huyo CS tunaomba aondolewe hapa kwa sababu amekuwa kila wakati kapteni wetu anakuja wanashikwa. Hii si kesi ya kwanza ama ya pili ama ya tatu. Tunaomba OSPD CS wa hapa aondolewe hapa kwa sababu anafeva watu hao hapa.
Right, that is a sad state of affairs. But we take a very short break here on KUTV Primetime News for another weekend, and we'll be back with plenty more in store for you. See you in a while.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Are you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics inclusive of, but not limited to, dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
You are watching Weekend Live with Auma Evans.
All right, welcome back and thank you for choosing to stay with us. Now let's move on. Now, Let's tilt our lenses to the latest development beyond our borders in our subsequent international news roundup, prepared by Abdul Samad Mahmoud, voiced by Doris Charlo. Let's take a look.
In Brazil, a tragic plane crash has claimed the lives of all 61 people on board. The aircraft, operated by Vopas, crashed northeast of Sao Paulo. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva expressing his condolences and declaring 3 days of national mourning.
I'm informed that a plane has just crashed in Vinhedo in Sao Paulo with 57 passengers and 4 crew members, and it appears that they all died. So I would like everyone to stand up so that we can observe a minute of silence.
In an official statement, Vopas Airlines reports that all 57 passengers and 4 crew members on Flight 2283 perished, and that they are working closely with authorities to determine the cause of the accident. In Ukraine, a Russian missile strike on a shopping mall in Kutv has resulted in at least 14 deaths and 43 injuries. The Ukrainian Prosecutor General's office has condemned the attack as a targeted act of terror. This assault marks the second major attack in the town within a year. The UN's Human Rights Monitoring Mission reports that July was the deadliest month for Ukrainian civilians since October 2022. In Gaza, an Israeli airstrike on a school shelter has resulted in a high number of casualties. The Israeli military claimed that target was a Hamas command center. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency reports that between 90 to 100 people have been killed, with many more injured. The attack occurred while people were sheltering and performing dawn prayers. Doris Charlo, KUTV.
Now, Ghana is seeking to raise more revenues from gold via its first refinery, which opened in the capital, Accra, on Thursday. Reuters' David Doles has more.
This is Ghana's first commercial gold refinery. It's been opened in the capital Accra as Africa's leading gold producer seeks to maximize the value it gets out of a precious metal it's been mining for centuries. At an opening ceremony on Thursday, Vice President Mahamadou Bawumia said the launch marked a new era that would help contain gold smuggling and raise national earnings.
Between 2018 and 2023, Ghana's average annual gold production was 3.92 million ounces. That is 122.5 tons. All this gold was exported unrefined, resulting in lost revenue.
The Royal Ghana Gold Refinery has a capacity to process 400 kilograms per day. It will source from small-scale and artisanal miners before acquiring licenses to process gold from larger operators. A sizable amount of Ghana's gold output from unregulated artisanal miners has previously been smuggled outside the country. Traditional ruler of the Akiem tribe in eastern Ghana, Asajefio Amoetia Ofori Panin, said it was important to own our own resources.
We're poor because we were exploited. So when I got here and listened to all the speakers, I just took a big sigh of relief and said, finally, we're here.
The refinery is a partnership between India's Rosie Royal Minerals and Ghana's central bank. Bawumia, who is running for the presidency in December, said it will employ 80 to 120 people directly and create 500 indirect jobs.
Right, Right now, following the last week's prison exchange between Russia and Western powers, several of the political prisoners released by Moscow have arrived in Germany, a place that has historically been a refuge for Russians fighting for change in their homeland. Marcus Hatton narrates this report from Ricardo Maquina in Berlin.
The prisoners released from Russia in this month's historic exchange with the West arrived in Germany, a country accustomed to receiving those escaping Russian repression. Vitaly Vobar arrived in 2022. He used to be one of the few opposition members of the St. Petersburg Regional Parliament. After he spoke out against the invasion of Ukraine, the Russian Secret Services came knocking on his door. It was then he knew it was time to leave.
In
Russia, there are still many people with democratic and anti-war values, including among the deputies of cities such as Moscow, St. Petersburg, Tomsk, and Novosibirsk. But speaking out openly against the war is prohibited and poses a great risk.
When the full-scale invasion began, thousands of Russians took to the streets, only to have their protests put down by police. One of the thousands who risked their freedom to oppose the war was Anja Demidova, a Moscow actress. By the time authorities ordered her arrest, she was already on her way to Germany. She sees little hope for change in Russia anytime soon.
Among Russians who remain, there are many people who hope that Putin is not immortal, that he will die at some point, and everything gets changed. But it seems to me, at least, as I see it today, what is going on there, in terms of prevailing attitudes of Russian superiority, has such deep roots, and they are much older and stronger than Putin himself.
During the 2.5 years since Russia invaded Ukraine, Russian exiles have received mostly bad news. More arrests, more convictions, and the death in prison of opposition leader Alexei Navalny. There is a makeshift memorial to him in front of the Russian embassy in Berlin. Bad news has become old news for a comedian known as Dan the Stranger, who fled Russia with his family the day the war began. He is less known in Germany, where he earns a modest living doing stand-up comedy. Despite the hardships here, he doesn't think he'll return to Russia.
I prefer to earn less money but feel free and dedicate myself to humor as I want, not as they allow. This is why we do not live thinking about returning. We do not face it as something temporary.
Since the time of the Tsars and later the Soviets, Berlin has served as a place of refuge for those fleeing repression in Russia. Many exiles see the current tensions between Moscow and the West as a new Cold War, with Berlin once again assuming its role as a symbol of the divide between the Kremlin and the rest of the world.
Right, you're taking yet another very short break. Up next, Sport News.
My name is Jakub Petri. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, and I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo power si vuguvugu. Pepo power ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni dunia ni leo Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Right, so it's time for sporty action, and we begin, of course, with good news. Faith Kipyegon and Emmanuel Wanyonyi have won gold for Team Kenya, taking the Kenya's tally to gold medal tally to 4 from their previous races. And now, in line with that, the legendary Kenyan marathoner Eliud Kipchoge's hope of becoming the first man to win the 3 Olympic titles, that is a hat-trick, was shattered earlier this morning when he failed to finish his race by dropping out at 30-kilometer mark. Ethiopia's Tamirat Tola claimed gold in the Olympics marathon as Benson Kipruto emerged Kenya's hero of the day, finishing third in the tough race. Alexandra Mutiso came a distance 21st earlier on as Beatrice Chebet won the women's 10,000 meters gold as Margaret Chelimo and Lilian Kaseit finished 4th and 5th respectively. Alright, now top young swimmers converged today in Eldoret for the Kenya Aquatic National Junior Championship slated for this Saturday and Sunday. The championship features competition for several age categories including under 7, under 8, under 9, under 10 and 11. The event will showcase the talents of young swimmers from across Kenya who have earned their places by excelling in county-sanctioned meets. Kenya Aquatic Second Vice President Hilary Leboy said that they expect a competitive event with a total of 40 swimming clubs participating. Alright, we have come to the end of our bulletin tonight, but before we call it a day, let me give you a brief story. A story was told of a man who had taken a very treacherous journey, a journey that is quite dangerous with a lot of barriers. But one day, the man had to face his fears. regardless of the many challenges and the warnings that he was given along the way. And man dared to take that treacherous and very dangerous journey, notwithstanding the dangers that await. With every step of the way, he confronted the dangers day by day until he met the final destination. I'm talking about the GOAT, the legendary, the one and only Eliud Kipchoge. In as much as the final ending is rather on a sad note, however, the achievement, the remarkable feat that he has left, and of course the standard that he has set that will forever be remembered, and many will actually try so many times before they can actually achieve that particular feat, running under sub 2 hours. No man in the history of athletics has ever achieved that feat except Kipchoge, Eliud Kipchoge, the one and only, the GOAT. Even as he hangs his boot officially today, marking or rather bringing down curtain on a very industrious and illustrious career, we will remember him for his contribution, carrying Kenyan flag high and even bringing marathon caliber to the highest standard. Eliud Kipchoge, the greatest of all time. And I leave you with that. Now we've come to the end of our bulletin tonight. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene, and of course for you, our esteemed viewers, for always keeping us company. My good name is Auma Evans. Joy Mutava has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Until next time, do have a lovely weekend, and God bless Kenya.